All right, guys, welcome back to episode number 5 of the Totally Worth It podcast. I am Kendall.
And I'm Haley.
And we are your hosts. Hello, dear.
Hey.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Welcome to the podcast that we do in our home where we both live.
Yeah.
Welcome.
I'm just the guest.
You're just the guest. We've been chuckling for a minute trying to figure out how to start this off like we haven't done 4 already.
I know. I don't even know why you asked me. You do it the same way every time.
Yeah. But it's difficult, though, because when somebody's like presses record and tells you to go for it, it's nerve-wracking.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe next week we can get you to start it off.
No, absolutely not. This is your thing. I'm just the guest.
You're right. Whatever. You are not a guest.
I'm not the lead in this.
You are a co-host, is what you are.
I'm a co-host, but emphasis on the co.
On the co. Well, I hope everybody is doing great. Thank you guys again for coming back and listening to a new episode. Got some good stuff to talk about this week. And the first topic we're going to start off with is, drumroll, let them have it, babe.
Potty training.
Potty training.
And boy, are we in the thick of it.
We are. A bit of an odd topic to start off with, but it's something that we are swimming through right now in the deep end.
And I'm sure somebody else is too.
Oh, yeah. And I've talked to many different people in my life and asked them how they did it, and every single person gives me a different thing, and they say, oh, this worked for us, you've got to try this.
Yeah. But I feel like we've just kind of done our own thing, and it's been fine. She's getting there.
Yeah, we have. Yeah. She is. We have, if you haven't listened before, we have a 2.5-year-old beautiful little angel, and we are in the process of trying to get her to not poop her pants and to do it in the toilet. And as a young parent, it is mighty difficult.
Well, I think it's easier now because I originally tried it right when she turned 2, and I think she was too young.
Yeah.
I mean, she did pee a couple times, but it wasn't consistent. But now she tells you when she's got to go, and she can go in there and do it by herself.
Yeah, she is getting really good.
I think her thing is when there's other people around, she gets distracted and she's not paying attention like yesterday.
Yeah. What happened yesterday?
When Chelsea and them were over here and she peed in the floor.
Oh, yeah.
She was
a little too excited.
Yeah. And then today, we left the house with her in panties and went to Lancaster, came back.
Just for full disclosure, she had on more than just panties. She had full clothes on.
Oh, my gosh. I think that's a given. It's like 50 degrees outside. But she's getting there.
Yeah.
Last week was just the real trying week. It was the constantly setting alarms, taking her to go.
Did we do it every hour?
Yeah, there was a couple times we went like every 30 minutes because she was just asking to go. But,
so for anybody who's listening, I work night shift and I sleep half of the morning most of the time. And so most of this that she's talking about is her and Joe's adventure. But I've been along for some of the ride on my days off.
Yeah.
But I think potty training as a whole is one of those things that sometimes parents, or at least from what I've heard from other people, that they dread doing it, and you get to a point to where it's almost it's easier to keep them in a diaper, and life is so busy outside of that you just don't have the willpower to clean poop or pee up off of the floor.
Well, that was me tonight. When we got back from getting that couch, I was like, I know I should put panties on her for like these last 2 hours before she goes to bed, but I'm just so tired.
It sucks.
Yeah. Because, yes, she can go by herself. Like, she can climb up there and do it, but it's just like stopping what you're doing 700 times a day.
Yeah.
To go in there and make sure they haven't unraveled the whole roll of toilet paper.
Yeah.
Or peed in the floor or didn't make it, or it's just put a pull-up on and go.
Now, so I keep getting interjected into this adventure on my days off, and I've gotten to see some of the progress that's been made.
Yeah,
from the
and
beginning.
It's hard for me to see it because I'm just in it 24/7.
So there was probably. So we decided when you tried it 2, and then we're like, maybe she needs a little bit longer. And then when did we legit start recently?
I mean, yesterday was 1 week. It was like the last Sunday.
Okay.
Because I made the chart, stuck it in the bathroom, started the whole sticker thing.
Yeah.
And that's really worked. It's done good for her.
Because we started with more of a discipline thing.
Well, it's because I know that she's ready for it because she knows what she's doing, and she tells you oh, I just the other day I said, where have you been? She said, I peed in my closet. Why did you pee in your closet? I don't know. Are you supposed to pee in your closet? No, I'm supposed to tell you I gotta go potty. And I'm like, well then she says
I'm not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to do that.
I mean, she's hiding in the cabinets, peeing on potatoes. Just go to the bathroom. You know what you're supposed to do.
So we have a large, floor to ceiling set of 6 cabinets. Mm-hmm. 2, 2, and 2, and they kind of go up to the ceiling. And the bottom,
they're deep.
Yeah, they're very deep. And the bottom
2, she likes to hide in.
Yeah, so the bottom 2, we keep grocery bags and just random stuff like bags of potatoes and stuff like that. And she likes to climb in this cabinet and play around. And she walked in the other day and kind of hung out right inside the door in it and was real quiet. Normally she's in there bustling around, pulling toys in and out of that cabinet. And when we got to looking, she was standing inside of it, peeing on the floor in the cabinet. And it was traumatic for the potatoes and the grocery bags.
Yeah, had to throw everything away.
Yeah, that sucked.
But that's when I knew. I was like, okay, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So it's
so hard, though, to know.
I had to switch my thinking. I knew, you can only discipline for so much. Eventually, you have to they have to feel like they're doing something.
Yeah.
So it's better to create a reward system.
Yeah.
And at first, and when I tried this when she turned 2, I tried only the reward system.
Yeah.
And no discipline. And it's basically if they go, yay, you make a big deal about it. If they have an accident, you don't even bring it up. You just clean it up. Don't make a big deal out of it because then they're not going to want to go.
Yeah.
And that was fine. But now she knows what she's doing. She's running and hiding.
For sure.
She'll tell you exactly what she did and why. And she'll tell you, oh yeah, I'm supposed to tell you I need to go pee.
I'm not supposed to do that.
Yeah. So I'm like, well, so now they're you've got to have some correction with it too.
Yeah.
I mean, she still gets rewarded, but you can't just be pooping and peeing all over the house and think that no discipline's coming your way.
Agreed. I definitely agree with you. What did you think prior to, well, I guess a better way to ask it is, before all of this, when she was still little, what age did you think that you would start trying to potty train her at? Was it at 2 or did you
I always said I wanted to start at 18 months, which I did. That would have been last Christmas. And she did get a potty for Christmas, and we did try it at the other house. Yeah. She just wasn't
I think she did it once or twice after we
could just tell
held her down on it.
No, we didn't hold her down. You're so dramatic.
Please pee in this bucket.
No, that is not. But I mean, the average age is between 2 and 3 years old. So I mean, 2.5 is the sweet spot.
Yeah.
So, I really don't want to be 3. I don't want her to be 3 and in pull-ups. Yeah. Mainly because you can't go to preschool at 3 years old if you're not potty trained.
Most places won't allow your kid to go there if you're not potty trained. Then that puts a pressure on the parents, and then you're at home and you're like, God, I really got to get on this. Or I could just let them wear a pull-up for another day. And pull-ups are expensive.
I know. I can't deal with the pull-ups.
It's like half of the amount of diapers for twice the price.
Yeah. Well, the only reason we even switched to pull-ups was when we started her at that little preschool. But then, I mean, she didn't stay.
Yeah.
So I think when we're done with these pull-ups, I'm going back to buying diapers, especially if she's only wearing it at night and at nap.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
I mean, they'll last so much longer now.
100,000%. I agree. Our wallets support that message.
Yeah. Pull-ups are crazy.
But...
And a lot of people don't even do pull-ups. They just go straight to underwear.
Yeah.
Which I feel like we would have done that if she wouldn't have had to have pull-ups to go to whatever you call it.
But I feel like I've talked to people who their potty training adventure, because it is an adventure. Yeah. Their process, everybody that I've talked to, their process is different. Mm-hmm. And I know that means that every kid is different. And every kid's going to do it at a different time. They're going to catch it at a different time, and it's going to click for each kid at a different moment.
Well, there's also this big thing, and a lot of people only apply it to crops, but the Farmer's Almanac is scary accurate when it comes to things like that. Like I know people that use the Farmer's Almanac to wean their baby off of taking a bottle, pacifier.
What? But I know I've heard you talk about it, but I still don't really know what that is.
So the Farmer's Almanac tells you, like, they create one every year, and it has something to do.
Who's they?
I don't know. The farmers. I don't know. It's a book that most farmers in the United States have.
Yeah.
And it tells you basically when to plant what seasons are good for this, because things rotate. Like, you don't plant the same thing in the same soil every year.
But the same book that has that in it has stuff about babies' bottles?
No. It's like a...
Seems like
it's like a general... It's like a season of harvest, a season of gaining, a season of weaning. And that's what you follow when it comes to children. Like, because you're weaning them off of a bottle. You're weaning them from a pacifier. You're weaning them off of diapers.
So it's like a fortune cookie in book form for farmers.
I guess so. I don't know a whole lot about it. I just know my grandma had one every year, and she used it to when she would like plant and garden.
I'm actually really curious about.
You should look it up.
I'm gonna look it up.
But for February, though, and it goes by month. So for February, the season of weaning is February 4th through the 11th. So this is like the best week that she is most likely gonna click in her head for potty training.
But who said that, you know?
I don't know, but it works.
Right.
I know several people that said that they tried to take passies away from their kids, tried it for like a year and couldn't do it, struggled with it. Somebody told them to just like look up the dates for the next whatever in the Farmer's Almanac. Yeah. They did it, took it away, never had a problem again.
Well, I don't know what day it was. I can't remember what it was, but you were working.
Mm-hmm. Last week.
And the night before, Haley came in. I don't know, I'm talking to you in third person because I'm kind of addressing the listeners, but she came in and she was like, all right, well, you're watching Joe tomorrow. I got to work. So when you wake up, she's going to be in panties, and you need to take her on the hour, and this, and this, and this, and this. And in my mind, I thought that's going to be an awful, awful time. And I was super tired from work, and I woke up that day. She was in panties. She was in there playing, and you went to work. And I expected it to be a day filled with cleaning pee and poop up.
Mm-hmm.
And that something about that day was, I don't know what happened, but every time that day that she had to use the bathroom, whether it was pee or poop, she would come tell me, she would say, Daddy, I have to pee. And she would go back to the bathroom, climb up on the toilet, do her business, pull 2 sheets of paper off like me and her discussed. We had a conversation about it. She'd do her business, flush it, come back in here, say, Daddy, I need help putting my panties back on. And she did that like 7 times that day.
Yeah.
And then she also came in here once because she was about there playing in her room, and I was sitting in here about to pass out from being tired. And she was playing in her room, and she came in here. She said, Daddy, I need to poop. I said, okay, you know where the bathroom is. I thought she was just being whatever. But this girl went in there, she climbed up on the toilet, and I mean did her business. I mean, you could have heard the beeping from the dump truck. I mean, the beep, beep.
Okay,
yeah, she killed it. She killed it. She went in there, did her business, called me to come in there at the end instead of her normal get up and run in here and show you, which has happened. And it was just so unbelievably impressive, and I was blown away, and I just thanked her. And I said, thank you for doing this while I'm here.
Yeah, she never does that stuff when I'm
And
here.
it was just a perfect day for her with potty training. I don't know what the deal was, but it's almost like she knew that I was tired and didn't want to clean anything up. So she was like, I'll poop and pee in the toilet today.
Yeah, I wish she'd do that for me.
Yeah.
It's like mass chaos everywhere we go.
I wish she would too.
She's always so much better for you, though.
I know. It's because that's my sweet baby.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's my little princess. But back to the subject, potty training as a whole for parents, especially for the first child, I didn't know what to expect. And I think that young parents who are having their first kid would probably, in my opinion, because I didn't have anything really to do with kids before Joe.
Yeah.
You did.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that in a bad way. Like, you just were around kids a lot more, and you're a girl, so obviously you're going to know more about that stuff. But I think a lot of parents maybe that might be listening would ask the question, what advice can you give to us before we start this potty training era with our first child?
I'm going to say, one, be prepared as prepared can get.
But what does that mean?
So, like, we were lucky enough that Mom gave us, like, all of Ray's, like, panties that she can't wear anymore. So we've got, like, 50 pair. Mm-hmm. So it's easy when she pees in them, which is frequently. Yeah. You just throw them in the washing machine, and if they poop in them, you just throw them away. Yeah. Because it's not even worth it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So stock up, get some hand-me-downs, have as many pair of panties or underwear. Yeah, that has been really beneficial having all of those. And then like every night, just wash all of them from the day. Yeah. In a load. I would say have patience, but it does take patience, and mine are growing by the day because I don't have any. I'm
sure by the time she's a teenager, you'll be fresh out.
Have a plan as far as a reward system, what you want to use as a reward system, and the worst thing you can possibly do is use food. Don't use food as an award system because food is a right. Yeah. That's like, I don't know. I'm not a fan of here's a gummy if you'll go pee. Yeah. Like, no. But because that
it's like
keeps
a dog training.
It keeps their mentality of, oh, if I do this, like I can eat. Or I can have a snack, and then they're going to expect that every single time they go, and that's That's not realistic. They can't be 7 years old and still want gummies every time they go pee.
25 eating a Snickers on the toilet.
Yeah. So, I mean, the easiest thing for us was a sticker chart. Like, I got a book of a gazillion stickers.
Yeah.
And it's like, they're all Minnie and Mickey, and there's small ones and large ones. And we use the small ones for every time she pees, and then every time she poops in the potty, she can use a big sticker.
Yeah.
And I tried to do like the days of the week and make columns.
Yeah, I don't think that's working.
But she was just so excited. She just slaps them on the paper. She doesn't even pay attention to what day it is.
Yeah.
So have a plan, but don't be like so structured to where you're bent out of shape if it doesn't go according. And then just hope for the best. And if you get stressed out and you're exhausted and you're done for the day, put them in a pull-up and try again tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, it ain't worth it.
It ain't the end of the world.
It's not. They're going to be fine. They're going to live.
And at some point, no
it's
matter what,
click in their brain
at
some point,
they are going to start using the bathroom on their own.
Yeah.
That's what I keep saying in the back of my mind. And I am not the person to give advice, but if I could give advice to the man in that couple who's having their first kid about ready to be potty trained, would be something I did with Joe when I'm kind of more on the practical side. Haley's more on the nurturing, sentimental side. And so one of the things that I did was I examined all of the possible problems. So I walk in the bathroom and I look and I see, because we have the little toilet paper roll thing that sits beside the toilet on the floor, and it's probably shin height. And I could see in my mind a picture, a video of her pulling all of that toilet paper out. So I naturally, while she was using the bathroom, I naturally kind of got down on her level, had that conversation with her. Not like you're a big girl, you can do this and this. It was like, hey, you're a big girl now, and you're gonna have to use toilet paper to wipe. So when you do it, and I pulled out two squares, I said you need to get 1, 2, and then we tear it off. And we did that after she finished using the bathroom probably 3 or 4 times, and I made her count 1, 2. And that was the day that we did that thing, that she did everything so good that day. And just having those little conversations with her, because I can't do much to influence her the way that you can.
Yeah.
But there are some things I can do, is kind of have conversations with her from my level. Because the man's voice to the daughter is different than the mom's voice.
Yeah.
In different ways. But that would... One of the best things that I've seen during this potty training ordeal is just simply having conversations with the kid about it. Even if they're not actively using the bathroom at that time, just like the stickers. If she walked in here right now and you asked, and somebody was like, hey, what's the sticker book? She would be like, the little one's for pee-pee, the big one's for poop. And that's because we've had those conversations with her multiple times, and that system seems to be working. But and
the more you talk about it, they're gonna think about it and then be like, oh, I might need to pee. Yeah,
and there may be people out there who try that kind of system and that doesn't work, and that is 100,000% fine.
We just don't know how to help you.
We just don't know how to help you. That's just what worked for us.
Yeah.
Or what is working. We're not there yet, but we're trying to get there as quickly as possible. But potty training can be stressful, so don't sweat it. Just keep plugging and keep going, and eventually they are going to get it.
Yeah, I think a couple more weeks and she'll have it.
Yeah. I hope so.
Me too.
I hope so, because I am tired of... I think the diapers are really our last having to buy for a baby kind of stuff.
I know. It's like there's a part of me that it's a little sad to me.
Yeah, not me.
Whatever.
I look forward to that day where we don't have to buy that case of diapers.
I mean, me too, but it just really signifies that, okay, I don't have a baby anymore.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, on that day, we'll take the last one out of that sleeve and you can frame it.
Oh my gosh, no.
Hang it up in your closet.
No.
for your mom memorabilia.
Hush.
No, but that's good. Yeah, potty training is important.
It'll happen.
It'll happen.
Yeah.
And that's that.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear anything back from that person yet?
No, I did not. So we can keep it anonymous.
Okay. Sorry, our ice machine is...
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so loud.
Speaking of a good topic, here we go. So we had a friend reach out to us on Facebook, and can you maybe read somewhat of the message, but without, giving that person's name?
So they said...
Also, in reference to this, before you read that, we have had quite a few people send us messages on Facebook and whatever, saying, that they are listening to the podcast and enjoying it, and we really appreciate that.
Yeah.
That makes us feel good.
Yeah.
And we enjoy that a lot. So thank you. But anyway.
Okay. Do you want me to just read that message?
Yeah, just read the message, but don't,
Yeah. Okay, so it says, just listen to the new episode. Here's a topic for y'all. I heard Kendall say that he typically likes the horror, ghost, parentheses, I guess maybe paranormal,
facts,
sci-fi genre when it comes to movies and shows. Maybe y'all could talk about your take on ghosts/paranormal and what you believe about them and how it relates to our faith. You could also touch on aliens. Big conspiracy theorist here. If you haven't heard of Bob Lazar, highly recommend his documentary and the podcast episode he did with Joe Rogan.
Love it. So thank you for that topic, because I am really into that stuff. Yeah. That sounds really weird to say it like that, because I'm not really into that stuff. I just enjoy those topics. Let's start with aliens.
Okay.
What do you think?
I don't know.
Do they exist? Do they not exist? Is it possible? Is it not?
I don't know. I know there's stuff out there, and there's all this footage, and like you hear about it all the time. But I also, I don't know. Like, God created everything,
Yeah.
And I just feel like if He did create them, maybe He would have told us about it. I don't, but I also know that, there's probably all kinds of like fish in the ocean that we've never even, we don't know anything about either. So I just don't know. Aliens, it just doesn't make sense to me, and I just don't care.
Yeah.
Like, that's just not a rabbit hole. Like, I've gone down lots of rabbit holes. But aliens just, they just seem so like sci-fi, ridiculous, slimy. Or like, I don't know. Like,
sci-fi, ridiculous, slimy.
Like, can it, like they got like 3 fingers and 1 eye.
What kind of alien cyclops are you watching?
I don't know. I guess they could exist. So
you're a no-go / maybe.
Yeah, probably. If they come back, I guess here's my thing. Like, people talk about like, oh my gosh, the aliens are coming to get us, blah, blah, blah. But my thing is like, yeah, the Bible don't really mention that in Revelation, so I'm good over here, Like, yeah. I just don't care.
Yeah. It is one of those subjects that's, I guess, here's my opinion on it. So you're a no-go / maybe.
Yeah.
Barely maybe.
Yeah.
You're a barely maybe. Yeah. No-go.
Somebody has to find something in the Bible.
I would say that I want to believe in aliens more than I do believe in aliens.
Yeah.
And here's one of the ways that I look at it is, I don't necessarily think of the term aliens as sort of super intelligent life forms with a soul like us.
Yeah.
But if a beaver can make a dam across a freaking river, why can't there be some other species of something who's good at something and smart at something that can make something like a freaking flying saucer. And I'm not saying that it's a flying saucer. I'm just saying that the Bible does not list out every living creature that's ever walked the planet.
Yeah.
Or not walked the planet.
Yeah. I don't know. That's just hard for me because I feel we only know what's on earth. And I mean,
and it says, in the Bible, and obviously we look at it from a biblical standpoint and there's so many people right now who are listening to this that are like, what an idiot. But he says in the Bible, God created the heavens and the earth. Mm-hmm. So he created the earth and the heavens. Mm-hmm. He did not, there's not a sub list underneath that of what exactly all of that is and what its contents are.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of stuff in the world and outside of the world that may be left unknown to us, that he didn't feel the need to waste.
And I guess that's my thing too. If he didn't think it was important enough to tell us, why are we messing with it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess you could look at it that way. Yeah.
Like if he really wanted us to know about these aliens, he'd have told us.
But here's another thing is that if there are aliens, who's to say that they care about us less than we care about them?
Well, we are the only things that have souls.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's to even think about it as what you just said, like, who's to say they care? They can't care.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe
it would be
like
an animal.
The way that a cat doesn't give a crap about you.
Yeah.
But if you pet it, it's going to love you.
I guess
you know?
But then it's like, if it's an animal, it ain't creating technology.
I mean, like I said before, I want to believe in aliens more than I do.
Yeah.
Now, I have a friend that I work with who is 1,000%, just immersed in the topic of aliens, and that is like his specialty.
Yeah.
It's his interest. He goes to like conferences and
my gosh,
conventions, and he can tell you every major story of every piece of footage that you've seen on anything pretty well. And he can tell you about all the famous people who have given their take on aliens or whatever, or so-called proof of this and that or whatever. And I envy him because he is so into it, and it looks to be so much fun to me.
That would be the last place on this planet.
That conversation looks so much. It would be so much more fun if I was sold on it.
Yeah.
The idea that aliens I think that there are things that exist that may qualify as alien, but I don't think it's the aliens that we see on TV.
Yeah.
And
now I like the term UFO.
Okay.
Or like an unidentified
flying object.
But in my mind, it should be an unidentified foreign object.
Yeah, there you go. That works. I'm sure that's also interchangeable.
Because that could categorize so many things and then close the book.
Yeah.
Like just leave it there.
But then there's also, even though I say I want to believe in it more than I do, there's also a bunch of stuff that...
Sorry.
You good?
Yeah.
There's also a bunch of stuff that, in my opinion, it's almost too many things to ignore to say that it definitively does not exist.
I think I'm more on the line of... I don't think...
And I'm not talking about videos of flying saucers.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like government projects and
now that's a different story
and things like that.
I don't doubt that if our government can create lab grown meat and sell it in a grocery store, they can create all kinds of crazy things that they might release. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like, I don't think God created some aliens.
Yeah.
Now,
well, I mean, if they are real, he had to have created them. I mean, he created everything.
Yes, but what I'm saying is like, I don't think aliens are how we think they came about. I think aliens are like created.
Yeah, maybe
by humans in like labs and.
Okay, I see where you're going with that. That's
like,
a whole nother rabbit hole. I imagine.
Like Frankenstein.
Yeah.
I don't doubt that our government ain't created some crazy off the wall stuff that got leaked and that kind of stuff. I don't doubt.
But all of the stories about, and obviously we don't have any real proof, but all the stories about, like government having possession of certain like spacecraft and stuff like that, or unidentified elements and stuff like that, like weird stuff. There's so many different stories about this kind of weird stuff that there's got to be some level of truth to something in there. Somewhere.
Maybe.
I
mean, I think
is the story something entirely different and they flood the media with green-eyed aliens in order to get us off track?
Yeah, that's 100% what it is.
That's what you feel?
Yeah.
I feel that that's very plausible.
Yeah.
The person that commented, that sent you that message, mentioned Bob Lazar. We did a little digging this week on, I had already previously watched that Joe Rogan podcast with Bob Lazar, and you did too initially, I think, but didn't care too much.
I know that I watched it, but I just don't remember it.
And you did some refreshing up on that.
Yeah.
I'm curious if you are listening to this week's episode, what your thoughts are on Bob Lazar. Speaking specifically to that person that sent this message, but me personally, so Bob Lazar was a guy who was in the Air Force, super smart guy, blah, 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 claimed that he worked at some
Area 51,
something kind of like, or near Area 51 or something, where his job was like super top secret, and he was brought in to like reverse engineer different parts of spacecrafts that had been acquired through like archaeological digs and stuff like that, like weird stuff. But he claimed to have seen things in there, like alien spacecraft kind of stuff, and flying things that shouldn't fly and stuff like that. But I tend to think that there is some truth to it. I don't know to what level or degree. But there was one portion of the podcast that he did with Joe Rogan where he talked about a certain element that, and I can't remember any of the details about it, but there was an element that he told in his original, when he first came out in the media about it, there was an element that he said, you guys just wait, there's going to be a new element on the periodic table or whatever that's going to come out. I can't remember what it was, but anyway, and then years later, sure enough, that element was brought into the public eye and added to something like crazy like that. But he was saying, I've been trying to tell you guys this stuff. People don't believe me, whatever. So yeah, I believe a portion of what he's saying. I don't
believe everything, but also, we were reading, and at the end of the article, it kind of spun it the other way and was like, most of what he had said had been proven false through a lie detector test and blah, 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 blah. But the government's going to spin it however they want you
Yeah, they were saying that like his record in the Air Force was confirmed, but his record for his schooling or something, they couldn't find any record of him ever going to those schools. But like, how easy would it be
to just wipe his record?
Yeah, for the freaking government to wipe the dude's record of his school. I mean, they've done way worse.
I mean, clearly he went to school. How did he get the job?
Yeah, or how did he get that smart in physics and engineering and things like that? I mean, he didn't get that in high school.
Yeah,
he went somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, the government's just always shady anyway.
So I think that there is a level of truth to that Bob Lazar ordeal.
Yeah.
But I just don't know how that level is.
Yeah.
I feel that he has probably gained some things from his, time being the whistleblower. Mm. And there are some perks to that, which would lead the people to just, whatever they call that, debunk him. Or whatever. But, yeah, so that's how I feel about it. That's how I feel. Some people say Bob Lazar, but
Lazar.
I say Lazar.
So how do you feel on the subject of, like, paranormal, like ghosts? Like, let's get away from the alien aspect.
Okay, aliens are done.
Yeah.
She doesn't believe, kind of, maybe one day, and I do. Maybe.
Not really.
Not really, but maybe. But I want to. Paranormal and ghosts.
Yeah.
First off, you will never find another person. Well, I ain't going to say that. But you will never find someone in close proximity to you that enjoys horror genre more than me. And I feel that I have watched every good horror movie ever. Mm-hmm. So if anyone has some recommendations,
he's probably already seen it. But go ahead and send it.
But I would love to hear your recommendations. So I want to say that I'm familiar with that area or genre of things, but I'm really not. But when it comes to real supernatural, whatever, ghosts, paranormal, I don't believe, and I think that we share the same feeling on this, but I don't believe that. I believe that crazy stuff can happen that we can't explain.
Right.
I 100% believe that. Because I've experienced it once, and I'll probably tell you that story in a little bit. But I don't believe that what people refer to as ghosts are people who haven't like crossed over yet.
Yeah,
I don't believe that is what that is.
Yeah, we don't believe in ghost because I think the things that take place on Earth that people consider ghost, it's of a demonic thing.
Yeah. I think that it's a facade as if it's a ghost.
Yeah, that's the whole point that the devil tries to... Yeah. Because, and I just get chills like even talking about this kind of stuff. I hate it.
I love it.
Because, I mean, it says to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. So there is no spirit hasn't crossed over. Yeah. They're waiting. They've got...
I agree.
They have to make things right or...
Yeah,
that's not a thing.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
You're either here or you're not.
Yeah.
And I don't think... People can't come back and haunt you or...
Now, if you're listening to this podcast and you're not a Christian, then this would be hogwash baloney to you.
Yeah.
But...
This is just what we believe.
Hear us out. This is what we believe. You're welcome to believe anything you want. It's a free world. But...
And we don't care.
Yeah, and we don't care. It's totally fine. You do you. But... Yeah, we don't believe in that. Mm. However, I believe that what we interpret as ghosts here in our world is more of, like what you said, the demonic side of things. Mm-hmm. The demonic world, demons, and things like that. I 100,000% believe in demons.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you believe in angels, you have to believe in demons.
Yeah, and I think, the Bible talks a lot about the devil, and you hear people in the South, I mean, especially here in the South of the United States, where the people say, "Oh, the devil, he's been on my back, he's been this." But I think the devil can't be. He's not omnipresent.
Yeah.
Per the Bible, he's not omnipresent.
Mm-hmm.
So if what we're saying is true and it's not ghosts and it's demons, it's most likely not the devil.
Yeah.
It's his boys.
His work. Yeah.
His henchmen.
Yeah.
The demons. And there's
gazillions.
Yeah, there's a lot of those.
Yeah.
I don't really I can't speak from that part as a authority, but I would be willing to bet that there's a heck of a lot of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of how I feel on that part. But I do believe that things happen on the regular that we can't explain.
I think that we encounter people I ain't gonna say on the regular, but I think we encounter more people than we think that that have some type of demonic thing
Presence.
Attached to them than they even realize or we even realize. Just like I think addiction is demons.
Yeah.
Like, because sane people don't do things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that. Just like there's, you hear the expression, everybody has their own demons.
Yeah.
And, I think that's true. I think there's a lot of things that go on in this world that strictly just come from that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because, this is probably stretching it a little far, but this is just kind of one of my thoughts. I wouldn't even say this is what I believe, but one of my thoughts is that the one way to sort of prove that there are many, many different demons, in my opinion, is that you as a woman are not necessarily going to be as easily drawn to some of the same things that I would as a man.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that there are many, many demons who are good at trickery in so many different areas.
Yeah.
So that if you've got some kind of demonic presence around you that's influencing you to make a bad decision in the world of social media or motherhood or whatever it is, that there's probably another one that's got some different interests that's going to come to me with different stuff, lust and different stuff. So,
well, you always hear the expression that women fall for what they hear and men fall for what they can see.
Oh, that's a big fact.
Yeah. Like you can make a woman fall for you and they could never see you.
Yeah.
Just by things that you tell them, your words.
Yeah, and you can never speak a word and have a man fall for you.
Yeah. just based on your looks.
Yeah.
And that's
100%.
just the reality.
That's a fact. But back to sorry, we kind of got off on a tangent there. But back to the ghosts. At the end of it all, yes, we believe that. But I think the best and most juicy part of the question, which I don't think she necessarily asked in that message, was, and this is the question I'll ask to you: what is one experience in your life where you have had what you would consider to be a paranormal experience that you could not explain, that was not normal?
Yeah.
Excuse me.
I would probably say, so when my grandpa was dying, we have a huge family and it was a small house. So there was a bunch of us all basically like crammed in his room, and he was like out of consciousness, and you could tell like his respirations were getting down to like 2 and 3 a minute, and you just knew it was time.
Yeah.
And his sister was sitting beside his bed, and we were all kind of in there just, it's just a sad time. But anyway, she started singing, I don't know, I think it was Amazing Grace. And everybody else is like crying and praying and all this stuff, and she's just a singing, and as she's singing, the light in his room just starts like flickering, and it does it like continuously, and then the minute she stops singing, it just like goes out. And me and my cousin just kind of looked at each other like, did you just see that? You got that right? Like, it ain't just me. But we were the only people that noticed it. Everybody else was too, emotionally distraught.
I find that hard to not notice.
Yeah.
But I get it. It was in a...
Yeah, and it was in the middle of the day, so like you couldn't... Yeah. You wouldn't really know if the light was on or not. But we just happened to catch it. And then, not even 30 minutes after that, he passed away. Really? And so, I do believe in, like, an angel of death. Uh-huh. And I do believe that God will send an angel or angels to, you know what I'm saying? Like, to get that person.
So let me ask you this. So indirectly, based on the what we've said so far about what we believe about ghosts and demons or whatever, if demons have the power to do these things, so you're also saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, that there is a flip side to that coin?
Oh, 100%. Because I think in the same instance that, demons can take a facade of a person or a loved one or whatever, I think that there's angels that watch over us. There's supernatural things that happen all the time, and people are like, oh, that's my guardian angel. And no, your loved one is not your guardian angel, because angels aren't people. Yeah. They can't. They don't know.
It is a neat thought, though.
Yeah. Because you
just wrecked somebody somewhere.
And we all say it. I say all the time, my grandma's my guardian angel. Yeah. And I know she's not, because they can't be, because angels are perfect.
Or angels. Yeah.
But I do think, in the Bible it talks about that there's different kinds of angels and they have different jobs. Yeah. And so I do think that he has angels that come and receive.
Because you got to think in the Bible. Even in the Bible, that there was moments where
angels came down to Jesus on the cross.
And to people. Yeah. Like the shepherds in the field, the sky was full of angels. The angel appeared in the sky.
Yeah, and an angel sat at the tomb when Mary came looking for Jesus.
And she didn't even realize it was an angel.
Yeah.
Right? Or am I misreading that?
I don't know.
Am I misthinking that? Either way, there
were angels.
Either way, there was an angel there. Yeah. And there was what are you doing here? He's gone.
So I think what I experienced was more of, I guess the term would be him crossing over. They were. I know it happens in an instant, but I do feel like there is, because you also hear in sometimes, my grandpa wasn't very verbal at the end. For instance, a couple weeks ago, my great aunt passed away. Yeah. And we went to see her, and it was the night before or the day before she passed away. Yeah. And I do think that they get a sense of heaven before they go. Yeah. Because immediately when we walked in, she looked at my mom and asked if Joanne was gone, which is my grandma, and she's been dead for years now. Yeah. And I feel like it's something of that sort. Once they start recalling people that have already gone, yeah, I think that there's angels present.
Do you think
that comfort them?
Yeah.
they comfort them while they're passing.
Sure.
Because death isn't, your soul is an instant thing.
Yeah.
But death itself is a process. Yeah. That's why there's hospice nurses, because there's stages to dying.
Yeah. So do you think that in sometimes in experiences like that an angel or God or heaven in general is sort of allowing you to experience that to give you some peace about the ordeal?
So. I think it's
in the same way that a demon would, introduce itself to a person in order to do something nefarious.
Yeah.
That an angel would do the similar thing, like in the Bible, and they said the angel appeared in the sky and whatever. And
I think that it happens to give a sense of peace, but also, like, me and my cousin were the only two people that experienced that or recall experiencing that. I also think things like that happen so you can, like, share almost like your testimony.
Yeah.
And help bring people or, like, lost family members. Yeah. Like we know we're going to see that person again.
Yeah.
And this little strange thing happened, and it kind of like reassured us that when we knew that they were fixing to go.
Yeah.
And we knew that where they were going.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it can also be used as a way to draw in the lost.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
So
interesting.
So you've got two experiences. You had the lady you dealt with at work.
Uh-huh.
And your brother's old house.
Oh God. So
and I don't even like to think about it.
Let me tell you this. Nothing creeps me out more than, there's two things: old ladies and little kids. And both of my stories, I'll only tell one, but long story short about the other one, a family member who has kids started, and I don't know where it came from. The kids were really too young to start making things up, I guess that I would say.
Yeah.
Almost too young for their imagination to stretch this far to come up with this, it seemed like. And there were two boys, and they kind of were talking about this person that lived in their closet.
What was his name? Jim?
Mr. Jim. And they kept telling their parents all the time, what are you doing? And Mr. Jim, he lives in our closet and talks to us at night, and like just freaking weird stuff, dude. And like, it's just, there ain't no way.
There was a couple things that happened while they were there that freaked them out.
Yeah. And I was there one night. I spent the night over there, and this was back when I was in college, or I had come home or something, and I didn't want my family to know I was home, so I just kind of like stayed over there one night. And I went down the hallway. Everything was dark. Went in the bathroom to pee. And I'm standing there in front of the toilet peeing. The light starts flickering, and all of a sudden, all I could think of was, "Don't do it, Jim. Do not do it, because I don't have time for that tonight, and I can't deal with this tonight. I will leave this place right now." But yeah, that was a bit of an unexplained ordeal, and I think that they kind of got over it and never really said anything else about it, and nobody really addressed it, and it just kind of
left it alone.
But since you gave an example of something sort of a positive paranormal experience, I will give my example of a extremely not positive paranormal experience. And I have only encountered what I would say to be what people would perceive as a ghost or demon or whatever once. And I have never experienced it before that, and I have not experienced it since. So a couple of years ago, I was at work, and in my job, we have to go to people's houses sometimes to help them do things. And so I get to this house, and I'm kind of by myself, And well, I'm with somebody else, but he's like across the street talking to somebody, the neighbor or something. And it was this really old lady. I mean, super old, sweet lady. She came to the door. All the lights in the house were out. And she came to the door, and I was talking to her. Super nice lady, and, had a smile on her face. Old white woman. Just like 150 years old, just like the oldest possible woman ever. Lived by herself. Family kind of lived down the road somewhere, I think. But I was talking to her under her carport. It was summertime, so it felt really good outside. And I was standing there talking to her, and I kept asking her, are you okay? Do you need anything? Can I get you anything or whatever? And we was talking to her, and she was kind of talking out of left field. It's somewhat like an older person might do once they get really close to the end. Like maybe she might have had some dementia or something like that.
Yeah.
But while I was talking to her, I could tell she was a happy old lady. She had a smile on her face, like I said, and she was talking to me. And then all of a sudden, mid-sentence, every bit of emotion that she had just melted off of her face. And not physically, but her face was almost like it was just wiped clean of emotion. And whatever she was saying, she immediately stopped saying it. And in that same second, she started whispering in what appeared to be a different language. And so she was talking to me, and she was like, yeah, and this and this and that, and really love the neighbors and this and that. And then all of a sudden she went into...
Oh, no.
But it wasn't like mumbling or like growling or anything like that. It was legit words. I don't know what it was, and I couldn't explain it, but there was something in the moment that just...
It didn't seem right.
Something felt bad.
Yeah.
It wasn't that it didn't seem right, or it was a question as to maybe something's wrong. Something felt wrong.
Yeah.
Like the hairs on my neck were standing up, and I was scared to death. I was scared to death. And it probably went on for 10 seconds. And then, so she was like, it's been great over here, and the neighbors are real nice. And then, and just the most dead look in her eyes was staring into my soul.
Stop. I don't like
and
that.
All I could do, I was frozen. All I could do is stand there and stare at her in her eyes. And then all of a sudden, after about 10 seconds, she just went back, straight back into the conversation we were having. Smile came back to her face and everything.
All right, have a good night.
And when I tell you, it scared me so bad that right after she was like, would you like to come in? And I was like, no, thank you. No, thank you. I just knew there was going to be a circle of candles in the floor in there or something. Something bad was going on. But I've never had that feeling since or before that.
Yeah.
And it's just, I can't describe how bad it felt in the moment when she started doing that.
Yeah.
It was like every bone in my body knew I needed to leave.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like a hilarious scared. It was like a legitimately terrified scare.
I hate stuff like that. I hate talking about it.
Yeah.
I can't stand it.
I told multiple people about this. And
don't go back to that house.
Yeah. I legit did. I told people, I said, dude, if you get sent to that house for whatever reason, you better be ready. You better be prayed up. Yeah. Because that junk, something is going on out there, and your boy wants no part of it. And I think that also kind of goes into like, I love horror movies and scary stuff or whatever. But your boy don't like going to no haunted houses.
Yeah.
I don't like doing none of that. I don't like being scared in real life at all. And that lady made sure I knew it. But it was just, it's one of those things that I will absolutely never forget.
Yeah.
And I knew in that moment, I said, this is otherworldly.
Yeah.
And but anyway, it was wild, and so I do believe in those things and those paranormal whatever. I just can't explain a lot of it.
Yeah.
I love watching it on TV.
No.
And
See,
I know
I
that
don't
want to
watch it on TV. And now there's a difference in paranormal and then like scary movies.
Yeah.
Like Halloween is not scary. Freddy Krueger is not scary.
Yeah,
like
but there are some people who feel that stuff's scary.
But that stuff to me is just fake. But the stuff that is real and can be real is the stuff you're not about to catch me watching.
Yeah.
Like I used to.
And you ain't gonna be watching no Ouija board.
No, I don't want nothing to do with it because I mean, it literally talks about in the Bible that we don't wrestle with the thing.
Yeah.
We wrestle against principalities and powers and stuff like that. I'm not. It's just like they say, like music is a super gateway to like let things enter into your life and
yeah. Oh, that's a fact.
Yeah, I don't be messing with music no more. Hotel California, count me out. Can't handle it. Done with it. And I think Ricky Cope for ruining that song for me. But yeah, no. I don't want to watch it. I don't want to listen to it. Yeah. I'm done.
So anyway, to that person who sent us that message, I hope that we have expounded and addressed those topics well enough. Let us know what you think and what your answer to some of those questions are. We appreciate that question. And that goes for anybody else. If you guys have any certain topics that you want us to address or just bring up and talk about in the raw, in the moment, we'll be glad to, and we would love to do that. So hit us up on Facebook or whatever. And also, I haven't even told Haley this yet, but we have a email address now.
Oh. Something else to keep up with.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to keep up with it. I'll keep up with it.
Okay.
Not because you're not allowed to, but because I know you won't.
I don't want to
care about it anyway.
It's not that. I just have like 3 other email addresses.
So if you have a topic and you want to email us something, you can email it to totallyworthitpod@gmail.com. That's totallyworthitpod@gmail.com.
Oh, don't start with that.
But feel free to send it to her on Facebook or myself, or email it to us at totallyworthitpod.com.
No, it's at Gmail.
Yeah, at Gmail. I don't know. Sorry, I got a little too into the voice there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why don't you enter our last few minutes and tell us about your mid-death heart attack this week and what that came from.
Oh, gosh. Okay, so I don't know how many of you out there are addicted to caffeine.
Me.
But I used to be, and I love it. I love coffee. I love all things coffee. And ever since I had Joe, I have had some heart issues, and I've slowly been trying to like weed things out and get over some things. And one of the things I decided over the summer was that I was going to cut out caffeine and see if it would help. And I did that, and it did help a lot, actually. So since June or July, I have not had any caffeine unless it was like, I don't know, maybe in a glass of tea or something. But no like espresso, no coffee, unless it was decaf. I do drink decaf coffee.
Which is absolutely pointless, but keep going.
Well, not for people that enjoy the flavor of coffee.
Yeah, I got you.
Because if you take an avid caffeine addict and you take all of it away from them and don't give them something that even gives them a sense of normalcy, they're going to lose their mind. Yeah. So I switched to decaf, and it was great. So the other day, I went to Dunkin', and I ordered my usual decaf Americano, and after I drank the whole entire thing, there was no way, there's not a snowball chance in hell that this was decaf coffee.
Yeah.
And I immediately thought I was going to die.
I was at work.
Yeah, I was at my mom's, thankfully, but my heart started racing. I got the worst headache. I got super nauseous, was sick on my stomach, just like everything was spinning. I just felt horrible, and I could not shake it, and so I was chugging water. Like, I drank probably 8 bottles of water in 2 hours trying to, like, flush it out of my system.
Wow.
I just felt shaky and jittery, and just, it was horrible. And so, it just made me realize that if you go off of caffeine,
yeah,
and you accidentally have it or have it and you're not paying attention, it really can wreck you.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's been 2 days since then, and I still don't feel right.
Yeah. Because I imagine I actually love coffee too because of you.
Yeah.
And I imagine that if you quit doing it for a while or quit drinking it, then if you got your hands on some at some point, then it would really get wild.
And it made me realize how much of a sensitivity you can develop to it, because, I mean, I used to be the girl that when I worked at a sports bar, I would drink a Red Bull while I was at work, get off, take pre-workout, go to the gym, go home and sleep, get up, and then have coffee, go back to work. And it, like, never affected me, never bothered me. I could drink, like, 2-3 coffees a day, never fazed me. And now it's like I had one coffee, and I legit thought I was dying. You. It wrecked me completely.
She texted me when I was at work and was like,
I feel
dying.
bad. I was so close to telling my mom, like, you're going to have to take me to the emergency room because I don't know what's happening. But I mean, that was the only explanation. And I know it's happened before. I've talked to people that are decaf coffee drinkers and say, oh yeah, Starbucks or Dunkin', they say they give you decaf, like it's on your sticker on the cup, but you don't know what they're pouring in your cup.
Yeah, for sure.
And now I just, like, it really scared me, and I feel like I just can't
now
trust people.
You're terrified of it, yeah. Well, you used to make it here.
I did,
but it just ain't the same.
It's not the same. Like, I've tried so many
Maybe
brands.
That's because they're just using regular coffee.
Maybe. I don't know. I've tried decaf of several brands at home, and it's just not the same. And it sucks because we have such an expensive espresso machine that I wanted so bad, like 2 years ago, and got it for Christmas.
And now I'm the only one that uses it.
Now Kendall's the only one that uses it. And he didn't even drink coffee when we got it. So
when me and her first got together, I drank energy drinks, and I would drink probably 1 to 2 Monsters a day. Now, I didn't drink the regular Monsters. I drank the zero sugar ones. I know, I get it. But and then I had an incident one time where I drank 2 of them too close together, and it about made me have a heart attack. And then after that, I was like, I can't do this anymore. Yeah. And then Haley was like, why don't you try some whatever it was, iced coffee or something, since you like to drink cold, try iced coffee. And then I did, and I didn't like it that much, but then I kind of gave it a few more tries, and then I fell head first into that.
Yeah.
And I've been drinking it ever since. And now I drink espresso and water.
Americano.
Americano just about every day.
Yeah.
Especially on the days I'm working.
Yeah. And I feel like that's fine.
And I feel like it works so good for me.
It's more of it is a natural.
Yeah. I feel like it does me so perfect because it gets me hyped up and awake, but it also doesn't make me crash. I don't crash.
Well, I think part of my problem is that ever since I had Joe, one of the problems is they can't get my heart rate at a normal beat, I guess.
Yeah.
And so it naturally is running higher. And if your heart rate naturally runs higher than average, it's going to give you high blood pressure.
Yeah.
Over time. And so now, like, I take medication to keep my heart rate average. So I think what was happening was I was taking medication, and then I would drink regular coffee, and it would, like, go up a little bit. But the medicine I was taking was, like, keeping it somewhat stable, but I wanted to come off of it. Like, I hate being on medication. So I said, well, what can I do to eliminate these things in my life that can help me come off of this?
Yeah.
And caffeine was like a big one. And I can tell a difference. Like, I feel better being off of caffeine.
Now you're just depressed because you can't drink coffee.
And now I'm just sad because I can't drink it at all. And I can't trust that when I go out in public, people are going to make it the right way.
Yeah.
So now it's like, what do I do? Because that was my treat, you know? Yeah. Like, that was my, okay, mom needs a something.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't drink liquor every day, you know? Like, I'm not an alcoholic, so it's like, give me some coffee.
I need something, yeah.
So
if anybody out there has dealt with a similar ordeal where they had to quit caffeine and they found something.
It sucks because, like, I feel like I'm alone because everywhere I go, I mean, every time I turn around, everybody drinks coffee these days. At every event,
I never thought I would be one to say
at
that.
every event, there's a coffee truck.
Yeah.
Or there's a coffee shop, and it's, what am I supposed to do now?
Yeah.
I love coffee.
So if there's anybody out there listening who has an alternative or who has found an alternative that works for you, let her know because she's looking for something ASAP.
I really wish that our town would just get a smoothie place.
Yeah.
Because I'm a smoothie drinker. Smoothies and coffee are my go-to.
You know, on this planet, as far as things that are edible, it would be impossible for me to care less about a smoothie. It would be easily in the last group of things on my list.
That's so sad. Because I could live off of just smoothies.
Oh, God, I would starve to death.
You wouldn't, though, because you get all your nutrients.
No, I'd starve to death. Because I wouldn't be able to drink them.
No.
But
when they're made right, they're so good.
I need some food.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. And I'll stick with my Americano.
Yeah.
My iced Americano with cream and liquid sugar.
Yeah.
So it's really, really good.
Yeah.
If any of you men out there need a manly coffee drink, that's it, bro. That is it.
Yeah. Well, when you make it at home, you just use honey and creamer, though.
Yeah, I use honey and cream. Yeah. That Chobani sweet cream.
Yeah.
Boy, what? That joint's good. Yeah, so she's struggling, trying to find something to replace her coffee addiction. So if you guys have had any caffeine addictions or anything like that are interesting.
Or if you're a mom that doesn't drink coffee, tell me what you do with your life.
Yeah, tell her what you do with your life.
What can I do?
What can she do? She's searching.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So.
I'm good.
You good?
Yeah, I'm ready to go to bed.
She's ready to go to bed, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, listen, guys. Once again, I know we said this last week, but we are super, super grateful for all the people who have downloaded the podcast so far. We've enjoyed it, and we're having a great time doing it. Thank y'all so much again for listening. And if y'all have any questions or anything, you can feel free to reach out to us, or any topics that you guys want us to talk about, reach out to us again on Facebook, either one of us, direct message or post, or you can email us at totallyworthitpod@gmail.com. And we will most certainly do that. And we're working on some interesting ordeals for some future episodes. We've been talking to a few people that maybe in the coming months we're going to try and maybe have some guests, one or two people on with us, some very, very interesting folks, to pick their brains a little bit about what they've got going on in their life and what they're doing. They're doing some cool stuff, so hopefully we can share that with you guys, and some cool topics that we're going to be kind of planning ahead for and talking about in the future. And also, we're kind of testing right now a video function. So this podcast right now is being filmed as a test. We're not going to use it because we're both in our pajamas.
Yeah.
And there's stuff all over the furniture, mainly 2-year-old toys. But so we are kind of heading in that direction. So if y'all have any guidance or anything, or you know anybody who's done that or have any advice on that, please feel free to let us know. But other than that, it has been a wonderful episode number 5, and it is time to go to bed, y'all.
Yeah.
We'll see you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.